kinds of relationships? How effectively were they able to manage all those kinds of relationships? How effectively were they able to manage the relationships that they had with the various members within their team? And then also, how effectively were they able to manage the relationships between members of their team? How effectively were they able to step in and clear the way and facilitate the negotiations that'll get the team over those little points of friction when people don't see eye to eye? So there's a degree of conflict resolution skill that's involved in that. It's definitely communication skill. A lot of it is just presence and awareness. Most of the time, leaders are so distracted by all of the different things they're being asked to do, all of the various pressures of delivery and people management and keeping up with the various corporate imperatives that are driving the choices that you have to make, and then managing all the relationships with your own peers as a leader, as another part of that process. The leaders are often under so much pressure and have so much going on that they are not really present with or aware of the dynamics going on within their teams. And so I think that's when we talk about missing skill sets, part of it is just having the opportunity to practice those skill sets by structuring your work in a way that allows you to be there for your people.
Yeah. So I want to go to another direction. We're
Yeah.
both designers, and we create digital products, and we create the technologies that people live with today and in the future. And I'm interested to hear from you. To what extent do you think that designers should take a stand in the product direction and its influence on the user's lives?
Well, I think that is an interesting question because it is something that we we historically have always felt. I think that in the UX community, we've always felt that design had something to say because design was often closest to the deeper understanding of the users and user psychology and user needs and those kinds of things. And so, I've always felt that we brought an important voice to the mix to 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 champion that perspective. Uh, but I think that also a lot of people take that role on as something of a crusade. They tend to treat it as a religious war, and that's not constructive. It has to be a mix of voices that brings about the product direction, the product strategy.
Yeah.
Um, so, yes, I think that design should have a voice and should take a stand, but not just taking a stand because we're design and we said so, but taking a stand that's rooted in a real understanding of users. And if you're not the ones who have that understanding, then no, you shouldn't be the ones making that
Yeah.
stand.
So the thing that comes to my mind while we're talking is the Social Dilemma movie. Do you know that most of the people
Oh
who talk
yes,
there, they are designers, right? And we
yeah,
see the influence of our creations on people's lives and
right,
what they're doing, right?
yeah,
Does
yeah, yeah.
that come up to your, like, do you think about when you're taking some of your projects and who do you want to lead and what kind of enterprise you want to work with?
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, I think that we all. One of the things that comes up a lot in my work as a coach um, is the simple question: why do you do what you do? And for a lot of design leaders, that question was clearer when they were a designer than it becomes when they're a leader. When they're a leader, they will often find themselves confused or just distracted by priorities that aren't really their own, that aren't the reasons why they started doing this in the first place, that aren't the things that really motivate them, and that aren't the things that make them successful. They end up chasing promotions that they don't know why they want them. They find themselves, with this imprinted with this desire to lead ever bigger teams and ever larger product portfolios and make things bigger, 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 and they get lost. They get disconnected from their own sense of purpose. And so connecting leaders with a sense of purpose is one of the really essential things that I do, because if they don't have that, then they're just going to be sort of blindly chasing whatever's put in front of them. And that's how you end up, oh, I suddenly find myself working for a company that's doing terrible things in the world. Because you were just chasing something that you didn't know why you wanted it, and you didn't have your own point of view about what you wanted to be doing, what you wanted to be doing in the world, what you wanted to be contributing to the world. All you knew was you wanted to be doing some design for digital products. And I think that that's the big difference, is the people who have a sense of what they're doing and why will tend to do that